What's happening, Carolina fans? Welcome to Two Fans in the Stands, a podcast related to all things Carolina Panthers and North Carolina Tar Heels. I'm your co-host Tony.
And I'm your co-host CJ.
Let's go. CJ, what's happening with you, cuzzo? We good today?
Oh yeah, we great today, getting ready for Tar Heel football.
Man, listen, I I don't know if I want to be excited or choke the hell out of somebody, but I'm kind of on the fence right now. I'm kind of on the
Ooh boy,
fence. I need time to decompress sometimes. Sometimes I need a little moment to myself, depending on whether it's the offense or defense playing. Yeah, but
oh man, who you
I,
telling?
I just need somebody to have patience just to bear with me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Well, look, we're gonna get into this week 2 preview of our North Carolina Tar Heels. We take on the Georgia State Panthers. The game time is 12 o'clock noon, Saturday, September 10th, at Park Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. If you want to, you can catch the game on ESPNU. So, real quick, I put together two things. I did a why North Carolina will lose and why do I believe North Carolina will win. So before I get into it, give me your thoughts on what do you see or what you would like to see uh from our Tar Heels that we take on Georgia State this week.
Some damn defense. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
I know
Past
that's
two
right.
weeks, we kind of ran away from FAMU at the end of the game, but last week App State, I mean, we were up. What were we up? 42-21. We were up good, and I mean, and they hauled off what? Oh my goodness,
They
40
scored
points
four, 40 points in the fourth quarter.
in the fourth quarter. How in God's name do you give up 40 points in one quarter?
Man,
I mean, it's
listen.
it's 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 almost like the defense just turned the dial down to zero, and they were just like, yeah, oh well. It was almost like they thought they would run out of time. But and I digress a little bit, but we've got to we've got to they've got to get stops on defense. They have got to get stops. And they play a Georgia State team that runs kind of you know, I don't know, option offense out of the shotgun. So they're going to get
Okay.
that look every single play. They're going to get that misdirection. And that hurt them a lot last week with Chase Bryce from App State. They ran a lot of misdirection plays, that really hurt Tar Heel defense. So they're going to see that again this week. I don't know what Gene Chizik is going to do or how he's going to prepare the defense this week, but he's got
Right.
to do something different. He has got to do something different.
That
Um,
communication is the one thing they need to work
oh
on first and
yeah,
first and foremost.
yeah. Let me tell you, they should all them cats should be on a permanent Zoom call, for the last 3-4 days. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
everybody, check
yeah.
check something. They going over their defensive calls just 24/7 because it
Watching
just
videos
had it.
and everything.
Yeah, it has not been there, at all. But offensively, I just want to see them improve. I think they're doing pretty damn good on offense. Drake May has come out of the of the game. I'm sorry, he's come out and just been balling. You know,
Listen, he
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 he, he
coming out
really
looking
has.
like he coming out looking like I don't even want to compare him to Sam Howell because he's not Sam Howell, but he's definitely not coming out looking like a red shirt freshman. Let's just say that.
No, not at all. I would say that he actually come out looking, better than Sam Howell's first two games. I
You
will,
think so?
hey, if not better, he's on par.
Oh, okay.
I
All
mean,
right.
he's accounted for what 10 or more touchdowns
Yeah,
first two games, I believe it is.
he's thrown 9 touchdowns and no interceptions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, he's doing it. And let me tell you, now we couple years ago we had the dynamic duo. We had Michael Carter and Javante Williams, and then we had the receivers. We had Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown,
Oh,
you
how I
know,
miss those
uh,
days.
yeah, Bo Corrales and all them. And
Yeah.
and that was definitely lacking last year. Now, mind you, we got Downs as our main receiver. He was out last week, so hopefully he'll be ready to go tomorrow. But the backfield, I'm definitely excited about this backfield. Now we got British Brooks who's out for the season, but Omarion Hampton, George Petaway,
Right.
Caleb Hood,
True
and and
freshman.
DJ Jones, yeah, they've all looked pretty good. And the one thing that I have been happiest about the most, the offensive line looks a lot better. They still got a lot of room to improve, but they really do look better than last year. These first couple games, it seems like they've been able to hold it together, and keep Drake May from getting his head beat in, and opening up lanes for the running back.
I can agree with that, but I also have to
Yeah.
keep in mind too. They ain't really played nobody but Appalachian State and FAMU, and even those two teams still applied a little pressure. So compare that to what you think you're going to see in 2 weeks from Notre Dame.
Oh, it's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be a hot mess. But like I said, if offensively, I think they will be okay. Now, I'm not saying in 2 weeks versus Notre Dame, it's they're gonna go out there and put up 60 points like they did against App State. But I do believe that they can probably put up another 60 against Georgia State. I really do. But I try
Without giving up 60.
hopefully I try not to fall into that whole well they ain't playing nobody thing, especially with college football last few years. I try not to feed into that. I really really do, but you got to feed in it ever so slightly, especially for the defense, because the competition is only going to get higher and higher as we keep going.
Right.
But yeah, but as far as this week goes, um, I think we'll be okay. Now, mind you, we got to go on the road, and play them down there in Atlanta. So
Right.
we'll see.
Okay. Well, here's my three things that I believe why North Carolina will lose. Now I know I shouldn't start off like that, but let me go ahead
No,
and
no, you good. Get that
let,
out the
let, me,
way
let,
first.
let, let me throw the baby out with the bathwater first, and then I go back and get them. You know what I'm saying? But when I look at it, the thing that was so disturbing was how they got shredded by Appalachian State in almost all phases of the game. 63-61. Let me say that again. 63-61. The Tar Heels allowed 40 points in the fourth quarter. They had no chance against the running game and no prayer against the passing attack, all the while allowing 649 yards of total offense. We talking about Appalachian State. Now, App State ain't nothing to sneeze at. They put
They're
up
not.
a each year they put up a pretty good fight against FBS opponent, but 649 yards of total offense. I mean, come on. So, like I said, I know you say we don't like to put too much emphasis on the competition, but you have to think if App State can put up 649 yards of total offense against us, what do we think Notre Dame is going to do? Even though we're going to have 2 weeks to prepare for them, but are we really going to make that big of an adjustment or that big of a jump in growth between now and 2 weeks when we play Notre Dame at home. I mean, I listen, to me, that just sticks out like a sore thumb. When you talking about 649 yards of total offense coming from App State. We got no business whatsoever playing man to man coverage against anybody. We should be a strictly a zone read defense. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't press. We can't play anybody man to man. We got Tony Grimes, who is a 5-star recruit, which I'll touch on that later. But Tony Grimes here he is, a 5-star recruit, and you're not even shutting down, your side of the ball. Storm Duck, I I'm not going I'm not going to even act like I'm not a fan of Storm Ducks, but I think he really got exposed in this last game against
Mm-hmm.
App State because it seemed like they were picking on him in particular, especially going for anything that was going deep, any passes that was going deep. It just the communication amongst our linebackers and our DBs is the same problem that I saw that we was having last year. And I thought by bringing in Gene Chiswick as a coordinator and Charlton Warren, who is the secondary coach, both of them coaches was with Carolina a few years ago before Gene Chiswick decided to retire. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that they came back, but I didn't see any improvement enough in the defense from last year to this second game. This is not even the first game. This is the second game. So it always makes me wonder, makes me think like what did you work on, how serious did you take the off season? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like they didn't have time to work out these kinks and learn this defensive playbook. These guys was out here like Gene Chiswick just became the coordinator 3 weeks ago. But
Yeah.
listen, they got a lot to clean up on that defensive side of the ball. And then, they
Mm-hmm.
they had Chase Bryce, he's an okay player. But hell, UNC had him looking like he was Patrick Mahomes or somebody. It's like
Yeah, they sure
in
did.
the fourth quarter, every time he got his hand on the ball, he was responsible for a touchdown, you know? And damn near, I mean, technically, App State should have won that game. Let's just be
Yeah.
all the way honest. Let's just be all the way honest. App State should have won that game. If that receiver, I can't remember his name, if he could have been 2 or 3 inches taller, he would have caught that 2-point conversion. You know what I'm saying? You
Right.
know, um, the other thing uh that bothered me was the poor tackling, which was pretty consistent from last year,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be a problem this year as well. You know, I'm starting to question the ranking of all these four-star recruits coming in because they are truly not living up to it. The defensive line is supposed to be the strength of the defense. They got a couple sacks, but when they needed to stop the run, they were non-existent. Non as they didn't. Yeah, they were non-existent. It was
They
non-existent.
ain't show up.
They didn't show up. Correct. Thank you. But it seemed like as the game went on, the defensive front got softer. I don't know if it was because they were tired, or whatnot. Probably, you know what? Now that I think about it, yeah, it was probably because they were tired. Because hell, they stayed on the damn field more in the fourth quarter than they probably did in the first 3 quarters. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's my only reason why I believe North Carolina will lose. To sum it up, is because our defense. I just feel
Mm-hmm.
like they haven't showed anything in the Florida A&M game or in the App State game to make me believe that they can go out and stop Georgia State, especially with this option attack that they run. Now,
Yeah.
here is why I believe North Carolina will win. Now, Josh Downs, which is our star wide receiver, might not be able to go, but Drake May has been on fire to start the season. So far, the redshirt freshman has thrown 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, which equates to a 72% completion average. He is also leading the team in rushing yards with 131 yards. The running game averaged 6 yards per carry against App State. So the balance and the potential explosive plays should show up against Georgia State. I'm hoping for Amarion Hampton, one of the true freshmen, to be the bell cow that the running game needs to take the pressure off the offense. I'm looking for him to truly stepping up and taking on a bigger role going forward, especially with this game. And then, like I said, you're off 2 weeks before we play the first home game against Notre Dame. So that's pretty much for me, the overall picture of why I think North Carolina will win. I would think they will win because that offense will continue to hit on all cylinders. But I also think that we have a chance to lose if the defense continues to play like they have played in the last 2 games and don't show no improvements.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, everyone, that will do it for us this week. We will see you in 2 weeks as our opponent is the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame at Kenan Stadium in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Until then, Tar Heel fans, we out.
Thank you for listening to Two Fans in the Stands podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to us on your favorite podcast apps such as Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Tune in next week for another episode.